עץ חיים היא למחזיק עמה ותומכיה מאושר דרכיה דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיה שלום.
Shalom. Our Torah portion for this week is Vayigash, and it begins in chapter 44, verse 18 of the book of Genesis. Joseph is now the prime minister of Egypt, and his brothers are standing in front of him. They have come down from the land of Canaan because of the drought that had struck that entire region. And the man that they're standing in front of is none other than their brother Joseph, that they had sold into slavery many years before. They have no idea that this man, who's the prime minister of Egypt, is indeed their brother. And you can see that Joseph is ambivalent. He is undecided as to how to treat his brothers. You see that he's still angry at them for what they had done to him all those many years before. He's certainly in a position to wreak great revenge upon them. And he has been playing a cat and mouse game with them. Specifically, he has taken his little brother Benjamin, who had been born after Joseph had left his parents' household. He has taken Benjamin as a prisoner, threatening to make him a slave. And at the beginning of this week's Torah portion, Judah, representing the brothers, approaches Joseph and says, take me instead of Benjamin. This will kill our father if we do not return to the land of Canaan without Benjamin. And Joseph is incredibly touched by this. It says, Lo Yachol Yosef Lihitapek. Joseph could no longer restrain himself. And what does he do? He cries. He cries out. He breaks down. He has this desire now to reconcile with his brothers. He sends all of the non-family members out of the room, and he reveals himself to his brothers. I am Joseph, your brother, he says. And of course they're frightened. What will he do now? And he says, do not be frightened. Don't be frightened. It was God who sent me here ahead of you all in order to save you. And it's an incredibly heartwarming story, because Joseph could have gone either way. Joseph certainly could have dismissed his brothers. He could have thrown them into prison. He could have had them executed. That's how powerful he was. But deep in his heart there was this yearning. There was this yearning to come home, so to speak. You know, there is that expression that you can never go home, that the people who knew you when you were young, as you were growing up, will always think of you as a kid. And if you were obnoxious as a child, if you had messed up in one way or another, they will always think of you in that way. And they won't allow you to grow up. They won't see you as the mature person that you have become. And yet we see that you can return home, with the right consciousness, and that is a very difficult thing in families, to allow each other to grow. But here we have a beautiful example of this, how Joseph allowed himself to change his opinion of his brothers, and his brothers obviously came to respect their little brother, whom they had not respected when he was young. We're told in the Talmud, in a number of places, that we should look for the good in each other, that we should judge each other, kaf zochut, which means as generously as possible. One of the great challenges in family is to see each other in our present reality, not the person who we were, but to see each other as the person that we are at the present moment. This is a great example of a family moving ahead and reconciling. Shabbat Shalom.
למחזיקים בה וטוב